The moment fans had been waiting for, but never imagined, finally arrived. The internet exploded overnight as a single clip from 50 Cent's latest move sent shockwaves through the hip-hop world. T.I., usually composed and guarded, was caught completely off guard, his emotions unraveling in a way no one expected. The scene was raw, unfiltered, and devastating, never-before-seen footage from the documentary, released by 50 Cent, that exposed intimate moments, private arguments, and a side of T.I. that even his closest allies had never witnessed. Social media lit up with fans reacting in disbelief. Comments poured in, speculating on everything from personal betrayals to hidden tensions within T.I.'s inner circle. You could almost feel the tension through your screen, the kind of tension that only comes when reputations and personal lives collide in the harshest spotlight. Emotions ran high as T.I.'s friends, family, and fans tried to process what they had just seen. Every frame seemed to reveal another secret, another slight, another crack in what everyone assumed was a solid, untouchable persona. The family was left divided, friends were whispering behind closed doors, and the music world was left wondering, what could 50 Cent possibly be thinking? As you watch, you'll witness the unraveling of a man who has always controlled his narrative, now facing a storm that threatens to consume everything. The question on everyone's mind is simple yet devastating. Will T.I. survive this exposure, or is this the beginning of an end that nobody saw coming? What follows is a dramatic descent into betrayal, confrontation, and emotional explosions that fans are calling the most shocking moment in reality rap history. The tension was palpable the moment 50 Cent's social media account lit up with the post no one saw coming. A clip from the documentary had leaked and it was devastating. Every fan, every insider, every casual observer felt the tremor across the hip-hop world, but nobody felt it more than Tip himself. T.I. had always controlled his narrative, carefully curated every public appearance, every interview, every social media post, but 50 Cent had just cracked that control wide open. In the clip, T.I. was seen arguing with longtime associates in his home, the words sharp like knives cutting through years of loyalty and trust. His usually calm demeanor had completely vanished, eyes red, voice trembling, the kind of vulnerability that is rarely shown on camera. He pointed fingers and lashed out at people who had been by his side for decades. "I can't believe you would do this to me after everything," he shouted, his voice echoing with a mix of anger and hurt. The scene was electric. Fans watching live, reactions online went wild, hashtags started trending and every comment section became a battlefield, supporters defending T.I., detractors laughing at his pain. The world was suddenly split into factions and T.I. was at the center of it all. In the next shot of the clip, T.I. is sitting alone in his office, the camera lingering on the silence before it cuts to him scrolling through messages, and social media mentions his face as a mask of disbelief and sorrow. The text messages are brutal, from friends who feel betrayed to industry insiders who are thrilled to finally see cracks in the armor. 50 Cent had not only released footage but strategically edited it to maximize the drama, the tension between T.I. and his business partners, the family disputes that had been simmering behind closed doors. Every interaction was shown in detail, and every pause, every hesitation was magnified. The reactions were instant. His fans flooded social media with messages of support, some desperate to defend him, some confused about what exactly was happening, while others speculated wildly about what 50 Cent's motives were. Whispers of revenge fueled theories and conspiracy threads across forums. The clip then shifts to a heated argument between T.I. and a close friend in the industry, a man who had been with him through years of trials and triumphs. Emotions ran high and the accusations cut deep. "You were supposed to have my back, you knew this would ruin me," T.I. yelled. The friend tried to respond, but the camera captured only the tension, the hesitation in his voice, as if even he was unsure how to defend himself. The betrayal was tangible. Fans watching felt like they were intruding on something sacred, something raw. The family drama only intensified when the documentary showed a private dinner where T.I. siblings were discussing the situation, some siding with him, some questioning his decisions. The scene was intimate and explosive simultaneously. Every glance, every sigh was magnified for dramatic effect. 50 Cent's release had turned private moments into public spectacle, and the reactions were unpredictable. The media jumped immediately. Labels like shocking, heartbreaking, and explosive dominated headlines. The narrative spun faster than anyone could control. Even T.I.'s own PR team was scrambling, trying to respond, but every statement seemed to fan the flames. The video then cuts to a confrontation outside a studio. T.I. walking out of a meeting, visibly shaken. A small crowd had gathered and reporters shouted questions. Every movement was scrutinized, every word dissected. Fans posted clips frame by frame, analyzing expressions and tone. Social media became a feeding frenzy. The world was watching and judging. In a follow-up scene, T.I. is seen calling his longtime manager, the tension in his voice almost palpable. I don't know how to fix this, it's like everything is unraveling. He admits frustration bleeding through every syllable. The manager tries to reassure him, but even those words sound hollow in the face of the public spectacle that 50 Cent has orchestrated. Meanwhile, 50 Cent is seen in a separate clip smirking in a studio surrounded by his crew. This is the moment we've been waiting for, he says, his tone a mixture of mischief and calculation. His team laughs and nods. The energy is electric, as if they know they've captured a historic moment in reality hip-hop drama. The drama escalates further when T.I.'s children are briefly shown reacting to the controversy. The scene is brief but poignant, the innocence of youth clashing with the brutal exposure of adult conflicts. Fans were shocked seeing such personal stakes made public. It was a reminder that this story wasn't just about industry power moves, but about real people and real emotions. 50 Cent's strategy is clear, each clip designed to heighten tension, each reveal timed perfectly to ensure the maximum emotional impact. The documentary feels like a chess game, every move calculated and devastatingly effective. The story then returns to T.I. alone at night in his home, pacing the room, the weight of exposure pressing down on him. He mutters to himself questions about loyalty, betrayal, trust, every word dripping with emotion. How did it come to this? He whispers. The camera lingers, capturing the isolation, the vulnerability. It's a far cry from the confident, composed persona fans are used to seeing. The scene shifts rapidly between arguments, reconciliations that never fully materialize, and private moments of reflection. The rapid cuts keep viewers on edge every second. Another revelation or twist. The world outside is reacting at lightning speed. Friends calling, asking if he is okay, industry contacts gossiping about the fallout, and fans speculating endlessly. The tension between public perception and private reality is palpable. In one of the most dramatic moments, the documentary shows a live conversation between T.I. and a former mentor. Accusations fly about past decisions and unspoken grievances. The mentor says, "You let pride cloud your judgment." T.I.'s reply is sharp and hurt. "You have no idea what it's been like to carry everything alone. It's raw, it's emotional, it's devastating." The clip ends with a silence that is almost deafening, a pause that feels like a cliffhanger. Fans are left reeling, not knowing what will happen next. The world waits and watches the ripple effect of every word, every glance, every tear as T.I. navigates this unprecedented exposure. His life suddenly feels unrecognizable. 50 Cent's calculated release of the documentary clips has created a storm, a perfect mix of betrayal, confrontation, and raw emotion. Every angle, every frame seems designed to provoke a reaction, and the reactions have been immediate and intense. The tension between public image and private pain has never been clearer. The story continues to unfold as alliances are questioned, reputations are on the line, and fans are desperate for every update, and the emotional rollercoaster is only beginning. T.I.'s world continued to spiral as the aftermath of 50 Cent's release hit harder than anyone could have predicted. The following days were filled with non-stop calls, messages, and visits from friends, family, and industry figures, each interaction laced with tension and unspoken judgment. The documentary footage had done more than reveal moments of conflict, it had exposed vulnerabilities that T.I. had long kept hidden, a rare glimpse into the man behind the persona, and it was brutal. The next scene shows T.I. confronting a business partner in a high-rise office, the city skyline behind them serving as a stark contrast to the storm brewing inside. "You knew this would blow up," T.I. said, his voice a mixture of fury and despair. The partner tried to explain, but each word felt like a betrayal to T.I., who had trusted him implicitly. Fans watching online reacted instantly. Clips went viral, people debating who was right, who was wrong, and what hidden tensions had existed before this explosive reveal. Meanwhile, 50 Cent posted follow-up snippets on social media, captions dripping with dramatic flair, each one fueling speculation and making the story impossible to ignore. The public was captivated and the stakes felt higher than ever. The documentary then cut to a private dinner scene where T.I.'s close friends tried to mediate the chaos. Emotions ran high, accusations flew, and the family was left divided, some defending T.I. passionately while others questioned his judgment. The camera lingered on facial expressions, subtle gestures that spoke volumes about loyalty, betrayal, and disappointment. The emotional intensity was almost unbearable as viewers witnessed the raw human reactions. The story then moved to T.I.'s confrontation with a former friend and collaborator. The scene was tense and almost cinematic. "I gave you everything, and this is how you repay me," T.I. shouted. The friend looked down, unable to meet his gaze. The silence that followed was deafening. The tension was thick and palpable. Fans commented in real time, reacting to every micro-expression, every pause. The sense of betrayal was contagious. The next sequence showed T.I. retreating to his home late at night, pacing the room, his thoughts a whirlwind of doubt, anger, and regret. He muttered under his breath, trying to process how quickly his world had changed. Each knock at the door, each message notification felt like another reminder of the exposure the documentary had brought. The private struggles of T.I. S life into the glaring light of public scrutiny, and the emotional toll was evident in his every movement. The video then cut to 50 Cent in his studio, a smirk on his face, the team around him buzzing with excitement. "They're eating it up," one crew member said. Laughter filled the room. The energy was electric. 50 Cent had orchestrated a narrative that captivated the public and sent shockwaves through T.I.'s inner circle. The drama escalated further when T.I. confronted another family member over what he perceived as betrayal. Their argument was heated, voices raised, accusations flung like weapons. The camera lingered on the faces of those present, capturing expressions that spoke of hurt, anger, and confusion. It was a scene that blurred the line between personal pain and public spectacle. The documentary then showed T.I. speaking with a trusted confidant late into the night, his voice low and hoarse from hours of tension. "I don't know how to fix this. It feels like everything is falling apart," he confessed. The confidant tried to offer reassurance, but the weight of exposure made the words seem hollow. The audience watching could feel the intensity, the helplessness, the raw emotion of the moment. The following morning, T.I. faced the media outside his home, reporters clamoring for comments. Every step he took photographed, every word scrutinized. The world was watching and the pressure was immense. His response measured but strained. "I'm handling it," he said, the words brief but heavy. The cameras captured every flicker of doubt, every shadow of exhaustion, his image a stark contrast to the confident persona fans were used to. The narrative then shifted back to 50 Cent's perspective, snippets of him commenting on the unfolding drama online, each post carefully crafted to maximize tension and engagement. The calculated release of the clips had set off a chain reaction of speculation, gossip, and emotional response. The momentum was unstoppable. The documentary revealed yet another layer of tension when T.I. met with longtime industry rivals, a confrontation charged with decades of history, emotions raw and palpable. "You don't understand what I've been through," T.I. shouted, the rivals equally defensive. The encounter ended with unresolved tension. Fans speculated endlessly about hidden agendas, past slights, and the real motivations behind every word spoken. The emotional intensity continued with private conversations captured with family members, disagreements about loyalty, past decisions, and current alliances. Each frame seemed designed to heighten suspense, viewers commenting on the human drama as much as the industry fallout. T.I. was shown later in solitude, reviewing the clips of himself reacting. The exposure of his private moments was almost unbearable. He sighed deeply, rubbing his face in disbelief. The vulnerability and raw emotion were shocking to everyone watching. The tension between his public image and private reality was stark and unavoidable. The documentary then shifted to a sequence showing 50 Cent planning his next release, snippets of commentary teasing fans about what would come next, every word calculated, every clip strategically timed. The tension between T.I.'s struggle and 50 Cent's orchestrated drama kept viewers on edge, unable to look away. The fallout reached social media platforms with endless debates, fan pages dedicated to defending or critiquing T.I. trending hashtags dissecting moments frame by frame, and viral clips spreading like wildfire. The drama was no longer just personal, it had become a cultural event, a spectacle. Fans couldn't stop discussing the intimate moments, the betrayals, and the unraveling of relationships. The documentary portrayed a human story set against the backdrop of fame, wealth, and influence. Each confrontation, each terror, each whisper magnified the impact until T.I.'s life felt completely exposed. The story's tension was relentless and the emotional stakes ever higher, leaving fans desperate for the next twist, the next revelation, the next moment that would push the drama even further. As alliances shifted, loyalties were tested, and every decision carried weight, the narrative continued to unfold in a way that felt both unpredictable and inevitable. The emotional storm surrounding T.I. had no signs of slowing, and every moment captured in the documentary seemed designed to make the audience feel every ounce of it. The storm surrounding T.I. only intensified as the documentary continued to unravel layers of conflict and betrayal. The footage showed him in increasingly vulnerable moments, the weight of public scrutiny pressing on his every action. His friends and family, previously loyal, now seemed divided. The camera captured every subtle gesture, every look that betrayed doubt or disappointment. The tension was almost suffocating. Viewers felt like intruders peering into the unraveling of a man who had always seemed untouchable. The next scene plunged into a confrontation with one of T.I.'s most trusted business associates. The argument was heated, voices raised, accusations flung back and forth. The room was charged with emotion. "I did what I thought was best," the associate said, but T.I.'s eyes blazed with hurt and betrayal. "Best for who?" he shot back. The exchange was raw, intense, and unfiltered. Fans watching online erupted, some defending T.I. Others questioning his decisions. The debate raged across social media as every frame of the clip was dissected and analyzed. Meanwhile, 50 Cent's presence loomed large. Snippets of him commenting online and sharing teasers kept the tension high. Every post seemed to add fuel to the fire, each caption carefully worded to provoke emotional reactions from fans. The next moment in the documentary revealed a private meeting with T.I.'s family members. The camera lingered on their faces as they discussed the controversy, some sympathetic, some critical. The scene was intimate yet explosive. A subtle glance here, a sigh there spoke volumes about loyalty, conflict, and heartbreak. The audience couldn't look away. The rawness of human emotion laid bare was almost too much to bear. The narrative then shifted to T.I. in solitude, pacing his home at night, his thoughts a whirlwind of doubt and anger. How did it get this far? He whispered under his breath. The camera captured the isolation, the vulnerability, the sense of being trapped under the weight of exposure. It was a stark contrast to the confident image he presented in public. The tension escalated further when T.I. confronted a former friend and collaborator. The argument was electric, accusations hurled like daggers, the mentor reminding him of past mistakes. The scene fraught with emotion. "You can't hide behind fame forever," the mentor said, and T.I.'s response was sharp and wounded. "I've carried everything on my own." It was a powerful clash of pride and vulnerability. Fans were shocked by the intensity. The drama had reached new heights. Social media exploded with reactions, debates raging about loyalty, betrayal, and personal responsibility. The documentary didn't stop there. A series of quick cuts showed T.I.'s attempts to reconcile with close friends and family, each interaction layered with tension and unspoken grievances. The emotional stakes were high, each apology tentative, each embrace hesitant. The fragility of trust was palpable. The story then followed T.I. meeting with industry rivals, a tense discussion layered with decades of history, emotions raw. The conversation ended unresolved. The sense of unfinished business and lingering conflict kept viewers on edge. Each frame seemed crafted to heighten suspense. The next sequence revealed 50 Cent in his studio planning the next release of documentary footage, a smirk on his face, the energy buzzing as he commented, "This is just the beginning." Each word a reminder to fans that the drama was far from over. The fallout spilled into social media platforms, hashtags trending, debates raging over loyalty choices and reputation. The intimate exposure of T.I.'s life had become a cultural phenomenon. The public couldn't stop discussing every moment, every gesture, every emotional breakdown. The narrative had shifted from a personal struggle to a spectacle, capturing the attention of the entire hip-hop world. T.I. was shown later reviewing the clips himself, his face a mixture of disbelief, anger, and sorrow. Each moment replayed, the vulnerability exposed almost unbearable. The camera captured the tension between his private pain and the public scrutiny. Fans were captivated by the human story of struggle, pride, betrayal, and the relentless pressure of fame. The documentary then returned to a private conversation with a family member, an argument laced with disappointment and frustration. Subtle gestures and words amplified the tension. The scene captured the emotional complexity of relationships tested by exposure. The audience was riveted, every word weighed heavy with history and emotion. The story continued to unfold as T.I. navigated confrontations, media scrutiny, and personal relationships. The relentless emotional storm seemed without end, each clip, each conversation adding another layer to the complex drama. The tension between loyalty and betrayal, pride and vulnerability, public persona and private reality remained the core of the narrative. Viewers remained glued to every moment, eager to witness the next twist, the next conflict, the next raw display of human emotion. As alliances shifted, trust was tested, and every decision carried enormous weight. The documentary's relentless pacing and emotional intensity left fans desperate for answers. The unfolding drama, captured in such intimate detail, painted a portrait of a man at war with the world and with himself. The exposure orchestrated by 50 Cent had transformed private moments into a public spectacle. The intensity of the reactions, both online and offline, underscored the cultural impact. The emotional rollercoaster showed no sign of slowing. The storm around T.I. raged on, with every revelation, confrontation, and terror adding fuel to an already blazing fire. The story of trust tested, relationships strained, and reputations shaken captivated audiences worldwide, leaving them desperate for the next chapter of this unprecedented drama. The drama showed no sign of slowing as T.I. tried to regain control over a world that now seemed determined to unravel him. Each interaction with friends, family, and business associates was a minefield. Every word measured, every glance scrutinized. The documentary highlighted the cracks that had always existed beneath the surface but had never been exposed until 50 Cent's calculated release. Fans were captivated. The footage revealed private arguments where loyalties were questioned and emotions ran high. "You were supposed to be loyal," T.I. shouted during one heated exchange. The reply came sharp and defensive. "I've done everything I could." The tension was almost tangible. The next sequence revealed T.I. Navigating the media storm outside his home, reporters pressing for comments, flashes from cameras lighting up the night, his every word picked apart, every expression analyzed online. The public consumed every second of his struggle. The story then shifted to a private confrontation with a former mentor. The dialogue was raw and unfiltered, accusations and defenses clashed in a volatile mix. "You don't understand what it's like to carry everything, T.I. said, voice strained and sharp. The mentor responded with measured intensity. "Pride blinds you more than anything else." The scene captured decades of history and unspoken tension. The intensity of the exchange left fans and insiders shocked. The documentary then showed 50 Cent's reaction, snippets of him in the studio teasing fans online, each post a calculated move to maintain tension. "They're hanging on every word," he said, a grin spreading across his face, his team nodding and laughing at the controlled chaos. The emotional impact on T.I. intensified as family members were drawn into the narrative. A private dinner revealed divisions among siblings, some supporting, some questioning. Each glance, each sigh magnified the tension. The scene was intimate yet explosive. The audience felt the weight of each decision, each emotional fracture. The next scene depicted T.I. alone in his home late at night, pacing, muttering under his breath, the pressure of public scrutiny and private betrayal weighing heavily. "How did it get this far?" he whispered. The camera lingered, capturing isolation, vulnerability, and the sense of being trapped. Fans could almost feel the tension themselves, each frame a reminder of how exposure had upended everything. The documentary then returned to confrontations with industry rivals, long-standing grudges and current tensions exploded in heated discussions. The atmosphere charged, accusations hurled and defenses mounted. Unresolved tension hung thick in the air, leaving the audience eager for every subsequent moment. The next clips showed T.I. attempting reconciliation with friends and associates, each interaction tentative, each word careful yet heavy with emotion. Apologies offered cautiously, embraces hesitant, the fragility of trust starkly on display. The documentary captured the human cost of betrayal, fame and public exposure blending seamlessly. The story then shifted to 50 Cent planning the next round of clips in his studio, teasing fans the calculated release strategy, keeping tension high. "We're just getting started," he remarked, each word designed to provoke a reaction and sustain interest. The social media fallout was immediate. Hashtags trended, debates erupted, and fans dissected every gesture, every word. The exposure of T.I.'s private life had become a cultural event, a spectacle as compelling as it was devastating. The documentary highlighted the contrast between T.I.'s public image and private reality, moments of vulnerability, his internal struggle and personal confrontations made viewers feel like they were witnessing something historic. The intensity of the exposure captured the attention of the hip-hop world and beyond. The next segment focused on family conflicts, unresolved grievances and strained relationships, each scene laden with emotion, subtle cues revealing loyalty, doubts and heartbreak. The audience remained captivated by the interplay of pride, vulnerability and betrayal, each interaction adding layers of complexity to the unfolding drama. T.I. was then shown reviewing footage of himself confronting associates, the emotional toll visible in every movement, the exhaustion and frustration palpable. His internal battle mirrored the public scrutiny he faced. Fans online commented endlessly, analyzing expressions, words and gestures as if they could piece together the full story from fleeting moments. The documentary's narrative continued to weave between confrontation, reflection, and exposure, creating a relentless tension. Viewers were unable to escape. The sequence culminated with a private argument where accusations of disloyalty and past misdeeds flew across the room. The emotional stakes were high, every reaction amplified by the cameras, capturing the subtle interplay of pride, regret, and raw emotion. The audience felt every ounce of tension. The storm surrounding T.I. continued to escalate, alliances tested, trust questioned, and reputations teetering on the edge. The relentless emotional journey left fans desperate for the next revelation. Every clip another layer of drama, every confrontation another spark to the fire. As T.I. navigated the fallout orchestrated by 50 Cent, the narrative remained gripping and unpredictable. The unfolding story was a masterclass in tension, conflict, and emotional exposure, leaving audiences hanging on every second, desperate to see how the next chapter would unfold. The balance between personal loyalty, public image, and raw emotion kept viewers riveted, every twist and turn drawing them deeper into the story. As the drama, betrayals, and revelations continued, it was clear that the narrative was far from over. The storm around T.I. raged on with no sign of abating, each moment more intense and emotionally charged than the last. T.I. struggle intensified as the fallout from 50 Cent's release spread further. The documentary captured moments of solitude where he grappled with the full weight of exposure. The camera lingered on him pacing his living room, phone in hand, messages and notifications flooding in every sound, a reminder that the world was watching, every emotion magnified by the knowledge that even his closest allies were now under scrutiny. The narrative then shifted to an emotional confrontation with a longtime collaborator. Voices raised, accusations hurled like daggers, each word dripping with betrayal. "I trusted you with everything, T.I." shouted the collaborator. Attempted a defense, but the tension was suffocating. The scene was electric. Fans online dissected every frame, debating loyalty, motives and past decisions. The tension was almost unbearable. The next sequence revealed family tensions boiling over. A dinner meant to reconcile turned into a battlefield, each sibling's expression loaded with judgment, hurt and confusion. Subtle glances and sighs spoke louder than words. The camera captured every micro-reaction, amplifying the intensity. The emotional complexity of loyalty and betrayal was starkly on display. Viewers felt every ounce of it. The documentary then cut to T.I. reviewing clips of himself reacting to confrontations and public scrutiny, his face a mixture of shock, anger and exhaustion. The private pain made public was almost too much to bear. He rubbed his eyes, muttering, "Everything is falling apart." The scene was intimate yet devastating. Fans could almost feel his vulnerability. The story then shifted to 50 Cent in his studio, a grin spreading across his face as he teased fans online, every post calculated to heighten tension and provoke emotional reactions. The strategic release of clips ensured the drama remained relentless, each snippet fueling speculation, debates and viral commentary. The next moments focused on a heated meeting with industry rivals, years of unresolved grievances erupting in accusations and defenses. The tension thick, every word weighted with history and emotion. The confrontation ended unresolved, leaving fans desperate for the next twist. The narrative then moved back to T.I. attempting to patch relationships with friends and associates, tentative apologies, tentative embraces, the fragility of trust palpable. The camera captured every hesitation, every doubt, every fleeting moment of reconciliation. The drama escalated further with private confrontations with family members, arguments laden with disappointment and frustration, subtle gestures revealing deep divisions. The audience remained riveted, watching loyalty tested and relationships strained. The documentary captured the human cost of betrayal, fame and exposure seamlessly. The sequence then returned to 50 Cent planning further releases, teasing fans online, each post a calculated move to maintain tension. The ongoing exposure kept public interest high. Hashtags trended, debates raged and social media exploded. The intensity of T.I.'s private life becoming public captivated fans and critics alike. The narrative highlighted the stark contrast between T.I.'s confident public persona and the raw vulnerability exposed in private moments. His internal struggles mirrored the external scrutiny, creating a compelling emotional tension. The documentary then explored unresolved confrontations with former mentors, the dialogues raw and unfiltered, accusations and defenses clashing in volatile exchanges. The weight of decades of history hung heavy in the air, fans shocked by the intensity and drama of the interactions. The next sequence showed T.I. alone at night, pacing his home, muttering under his breath, overwhelmed by the relentless public and private scrutiny. "How did it get this far?" he whispered, the camera capturing isolation and vulnerability. Fans could almost feel the tension. The documentary then shifted to multiple quick cuts of confrontations with associates, friends and rivals, each frame intensifying suspense, every apology tentative, every defense hesitant. The fragility of trust underscored the emotional stakes. The story continued with family confrontations, subtle but explosive disagreements about loyalty and past decisions amplified by the camera capturing every expression, every hesitation. The audience remained captivated by the interplay of pride, vulnerability and betrayal, each scene building toward an emotional crescendo. The narrative followed T.I. reviewing clips of confrontations, exhaustion evident, his internal struggle a stark contrast to the public scrutiny, each frame a reminder of the storm surrounding him. Fans analyzing expressions, words, gestures, desperately seeking understanding. The relentless tension continued, alliances tested, trust questioned, reputations teetering on the edge. The emotional journey gripping and unpredictable, every twist, every confrontation pulling viewers deeper into the drama as the storm orchestrated by 50 Cent raged on, leaving no one untouched. Each revelation, each exposure adding fuel to a fire that seemed impossible to extinguish. The story's intensity showed no sign of abating and fans remained glued to every second, desperate for the next dramatic turn. The intensity of T.I.'s turmoil reached new heights as the documentary continued to peel back layer after layer of conflict and vulnerability. The footage showed him in moments of private reflection and public confrontation. The camera captured every nuance of his expressions, every hesitant word spoken, the weight of betrayal and exposure pressing down like a storm cloud. The narrative then cut to a volatile meeting with longtime associates, voices raised, accusations flying across the room, tension thick and palpable. "I gave you everything and this is how you repay me," T.I. I shouted. The associates tried to respond, but every word felt like a weapon. The drama was electric. Fans online dissected every frame, analyzing tone, expression, and body language. Debates erupting in real time. The next scene revealed family tensions at a private dinner intended to reconcile old grievances. Instead, every glance, every sigh highlighted divisions among siblings, some supportive, some questioning T.I.'s choices. The camera lingered on subtle gestures, the tension almost unbearable. Viewers could feel the stakes. The documentary then followed T.I. in solitude late at night, pacing his home, phone in hand, the constant flood of messages and notifications a stark reminder of the world watching. Everything is unraveling, he muttered under his breath. The footage captured isolation, vulnerability, and raw emotion. Fans could almost feel his struggle. The story then shifted to confrontations with former mentors and rivals, accusations hurled, defenses mounted, years of unresolved tension exploding in heated arguments. The camera captured the intensity, each frame a testament to the emotional and professional stakes involved. 50 Cent's presence loomed large throughout the documentary. Snippets of him in the studio teasing fans online, each post carefully calculated to heighten suspense and fuel speculation. The strategic release of footage ensured the drama remained relentless, every clip generating discussion, debate, and viral commentary. The narrative continued with T.I. attempting reconciliation with friends and associates, each interaction tentative, each apology cautious, each embrace hesitant. The fragility of trust starkly evident. The tension between loyalty and betrayal remained at the forefront. Family confrontations further intensified the drama, subtle gestures revealing disappointment and hurt, the audience captivated by the interplay of pride, vulnerability, and fractured relationships. The documentary highlighted the human cost of fame and exposure, blending public spectacle with private pain seamlessly. The story then returned to T.I. reviewing confrontations and media coverage, his exhaustion evident, the emotional toll visible in every movement. Each moment replayed a reminder of the relentless pressure. The documentary then captured confrontations with industry rivals, years of unspoken grievances and current conflicts clashing in heated arguments, the tension thick, every word weighted with history and emotion. The unresolved nature of these confrontations kept fans desperate for each subsequent moment. The next sequences focused on T.I. navigating the social media storm, hashtags trending, debates erupting, every word, gesture analyzed frame by frame. The exposure of private life into public spectacle created a cultural phenomenon. The narrative highlighted stark contrasts between T.I.'s public image and private reality, moments of vulnerability, his internal struggle, and public scrutiny, creating compelling emotional tension. The documentary continued to weave between confrontation, reflection, and exposure, creating a relentless emotional rollercoaster. The audience remained riveted, every twist, every turn adding layers to the complex drama. T.I. shown pacing alone, muttering to himself, struggling to reconcile the public perception with personal reality. The relentless emotional storm, orchestrated by 50 Cent, continued to escalate, alliances tested, reputations on the line, trust strained to the breaking point. The audience desperate for the next dramatic revelation. The footage captured T.I.'s internal and external battles with unflinching intensity, every confrontation, every argument, every moment of vulnerability magnified by the camera. The story unfolded as a masterclass in tension, drama, and raw emotion, leaving fans unable to look away as the storm around T.I. raged relentlessly, every scene more intense, every revelation more explosive. The narrative built to an almost unbearable crescendo, with no signs of slowing, each dramatic twist pulling the audience deeper into the chaos. The relentless exposure, confrontations, and emotional rawness ensured that the drama would be remembered and discussed long after the clips stopped circulating, leaving everyone questioning what would happen next and how T.I. could possibly navigate the fallout. The pressure on T.I. reached an almost unbearable level as the documentary continued to unveil the chaos. 50 Cent had orchestrated every interaction, every confrontation, every vulnerable moment, captured with a raw intensity that left viewers breathless. The footage showed T.I. in endless cycles of reflection and confrontation, pacing his home, muttering to himself, a man under siege from public scrutiny and private betrayal. The next sequence plunged into a heated argument with a longtime business partner. Accusations flew, voices raised, the tension thick. "I trusted you with everything," T.I. shouted, the partner's defense faltering under the weight of the emotional intensity. The scene was almost cinematic. Fans dissected every gesture, every pause, debating loyalty, motives, and past missteps. Social media exploded the drama, now a cultural obsession. The documentary then shifted to a family meeting meant to reconcile old wounds. Instead, it ignited new conflicts, subtle gestures, tight lips, loaded glances conveying more than words could express. Some siblings stood firmly with T.I. Others questioned his decisions. The camera lingered on every micro-expression, the audience feeling the tension viscerally. The story then returned to T.I. Alone at night reviewing messages, clips and social media reactions, exhaustion evident in every line of his face. How did it get this far? He whispered, the vulnerability, isolation, and weight of exposure palpable. The narrative then cut to confrontations with former mentors and industry rivals, raw and unfiltered accusations colliding with defenses, each word dripping with history and unresolved conflict. The intensity left fans and insiders shocked. The documentary then highlighted 50 Cent's strategic teasing of audiences, online snippets designed to provoke speculation and maximize tension, his presence looming over every development, a reminder that the storm surrounding T.I. was far from over. The next scenes focused on T.I. attempting tentative reconciliations with friends and associates, apologies hesitant, embraces fleeting. The fragility of trust laid bare, the tension between loyalty and betrayal. The narrative then explored private family confrontations, arguments laden with disappointment and unspoken grievances, subtle gestures amplifying the emotional impact, viewers captivated by the interplay of pride, vulnerability and fractured relationships. The documentary's seamless blend of public spectacle and private pain underscored the human cost of betrayal, fame and exposure. The story then followed T.I. reviewing footage of confrontations and media scrutiny, exhaustion etched into every movement, each replay a reminder of relentless pressure. The narrative then captured industry rival confrontations, past grievances exploding into heated discussions, tension thick, each word weighted with history and emotion, unresolved conflicts keeping fans on edge, social media a constant storm, hashtags trending, debates erupting, fans analyzing every frame. The documentary highlighted the stark contrast between T.I.'s public persona and private reality, moments of vulnerability, internal struggle and public exposure combining to create a gripping emotional tension. The narrative continued to weave confrontation, reflection and exposure in a relentless cycle, the audience riveted, each twist adding layers to the drama. T.I. pacing alone, muttering, struggling to reconcile perception with reality, the relentless emotional storm orchestrated by 50 Cent, escalating alliances, testing trust, pushing reputations to the brink, leaving the audience desperate for the next revelation. Every confrontation, argument and moment of vulnerability magnified, leaving viewers unable to look away. The story unfolded a masterclass in tension, drama and raw emotion, each scene building toward a crescendo of suspense and emotional intensity. The storm surrounding T.I. relentless, every revelation more shocking, every conflict more explosive. The narrative ensured that fans remained hooked and desperate for the next chapter, leaving everyone questioning how T.I. could possibly navigate the fallout and what the ultimate outcome of this unprecedented exposure would be. The unraveling continued as T.I. faced the relentless fallout from 50 Cent's calculated release. Every day seemed to bring a new confrontation, a new accusation, a new moment of exposure. The documentary captured him in moments of private reflection, alone in his home, pacing, phone in hand, messages and notifications flooding in, every sound a reminder that the world was watching and judging. The next scene plunged into a heated argument with a longtime business associate, voices raised, accusations flying, the tension thick. "I trusted you with everything, T.I. shouted the associate, attempting to respond, but each word seemed to land like a dagger. The drama was electric, fans online dissected every frame, debating loyalty, motives, and past missteps. Social media exploded, the narrative now dominating every platform. The documentary then shifted to a private family dinner meant to reconcile old wounds. Instead, it ignited new conflicts, subtle glances, tight lips, and loaded expressions conveying disappointment, hurt, and doubt. Some family members firmly supporting T.I. others questioning his choices. The camera lingered on every reaction, amplifying tension. Viewers felt the weight of loyalty, betrayal, and fractured relationships. The narrative then returned to T.I. alone at night reviewing messages, social media reactions, and footage of confrontations, exhaustion evident in every line of his face. How did it get this far? He whispered, vulnerability and isolation palpable. The documentary then captured confrontations with former mentors and industry rivals, raw and unfiltered accusations clashing with defenses, years of history and unresolved tension exploding. In each heated exchange, fans watching were shocked by the intensity. The next sequences highlighted 50 Cent's strategic teasing of audiences, online snippets designed to provoke speculation and heighten tension, his presence looming over every development, a constant reminder that the storm surrounding T.I. was far from over. T.I. attempted tentative reconciliations with friends and associates, apologies hesitant, embraces fleeting, the fragility of trust laid bare. The narrative then explored private family confrontations, arguments loaded with disappointment and unspoken grievances, subtle gestures amplifying the emotional impact, viewers captivated by pride, vulnerability, and fractured relationships. The documentary's seamless blend of public spectacle and private pain underscored the human cost of betrayal, fame, and exposure. T.I. Reviewing confrontations in media coverage, exhaustion etched into every movement, each replay a reminder of the relentless pressure, industry rival confrontations, past grievances exploding into heated discussions, tension thick, every word weighted with history, unresolved conflicts leaving fans desperate for the next twist, social media a constant storm, hashtags trending, debates erupting, viewers dissecting every moment. The narrative highlighted the stark contrast between T.I.'s public persona and private reality, moments of vulnerability, internal struggle, and public exposure, creating a gripping emotional tension. The documentary continued to weave confrontation, reflection, and exposure in a relentless cycle, viewers riveted each twist, adding layers to the drama. T.I. pacing alone, muttering, struggling to reconcile public perception with private reality, the relentless emotional storm orchestrated by 50 Cent, escalating alliances, testing trust, pushing reputations to the brink, leaving the audience desperate for the next revelation, every confrontation, argument, and vulnerable moment magnified, leaving fans unable to look away. The story unfolded, a masterclass in tension, drama, and raw emotion, each scene building toward a crescendo of suspense, the storm surrounding T.I. relentless, every revelation more shocking, every conflict more explosive, ensuring fans remained hooked, desperate for the next chapter, leaving everyone questioning how T.I. could navigate the fallout and what the ultimate outcome of this unprecedented exposure would be. The tension continued to build with private conversations between T.I. and trusted confidants, each exchange a delicate balancing act between raw emotion and careful diplomacy. The camera captured hesitation, regret, and frustration, fans online reacting in real time, analyzing every word, every gesture, every look. The relentless pressure seemed to intensify, each new snippet of footage adding fuel to the fire. Confrontations with associates escalated further, accusations hurled, defenses mounted, the storm of exposure leaving T.I. increasingly isolated and emotionally drained, yet determined to maintain composure. The documentary's pace remained unrelenting, each revelation crafted to heighten suspense, leaving viewers captivated as the unraveling continued with no end in sight, every new conflict, every emotional breakdown drawing the audience deeper into the complex, high-stakes drama surrounding T.I. and the meticulously orchestrated chaos 50 Cent had unleashed. The chaos surrounding T.I. intensified as the documentary pushed further into the private and public fallout. Every day brought new confrontations, new accusations, and fresh waves of scrutiny. The footage captured T.I. in moments of raw emotion, pacing his home late at night, phone in hand, messages and notifications constantly arriving, the weight of exposure pressing down like a storm. The next scene revealed a volatile meeting with a longtime business partner, accusations hurled, voices raised, the tension thick. "I trusted you with everything," T.I. shouted. The partner attempted a defense, but each word seemed to deepen the divide. Fans dissected every frame, debating loyalty, motives, and past decisions. Social media erupted, turning the drama into a cultural phenomenon. The narrative then shifted to a family gathering intended for reconciliation. Instead, it became a battlefield, subtle gestures, tight lips, loaded glances, conveying disappointment, hurt, and doubt. Some family members standing firmly with T.I. others questioning his choices. The camera lingered on every micro-expression, amplifying the tension. Viewers could feel the weight of fractured loyalty. The documentary then returned to T.I. in solitude, reviewing messages, footage, and social media reactions, exhaustion evident in every line of his face. "Everything is falling apart," he muttered, the vulnerability, isolation, and emotional pressure palpable. The next sequence captured confrontations with former mentors and industry rivals, accusations and defenses colliding in volatile exchanges, years of unresolved tension erupting with every word. Fans shocked by the intensity of the interactions. The story then highlighted 50 Cent's continued online teasing, snippets strategically released to provoke speculation and sustain tension, his presence a looming shadow over the unfolding drama. The next sequences focused on T.I. attempting tentative reconciliations with friends and associates, apologies, hesitant embraces, fleeting, the fragility of trust starkly on display. Family confrontations escalated, emotions, arguments laden with disappointment and unspoken grievances, subtle gestures amplifying the drama. Viewers captivated by the interplay of pride, vulnerability, and fractured relationships. The documentary's seamless blend of public spectacle and private pain emphasized the human cost of betrayal, fame, and exposure. T.I. reviewing confrontations in media coverage, exhaustion etched into every movement, each replay a reminder of the relentless pressure, industry rival confrontations exploding into heated discussions, tension thick, every word weighted with history, unresolved conflicts keeping fans desperate for the next twist. Social media a constant storm, hashtags trending, debates erupting, viewers dissecting every moment. The narrative highlighted the stark contrast between T.I. public persona and private reality, moments of vulnerability, internal struggle, and public exposure, creating gripping emotional tension. The documentary continued to weave confrontation, reflection, and exposure in a relentless cycle. The audience riveted every twist, adding layers to the drama. Pacing alone, muttering, struggling to reconcile public perception with private reality. The relentless emotional storm orchestrated by 50 Cent, escalating alliances, testing trust, pushing reputations to the brink, leaving the audience desperate for the next revelation. Every confrontation, argument, and vulnerable moment magnified, leaving fans unable to look away. The story unfolded as a masterclass in tension, drama, and raw emotion, each scene building toward a crescendo of suspense. The storm surrounding relentless, every revelation more shocking, every conflict more explosive, ensuring fans remained hooked, desperate for the next chapter, leaving everyone questioning how could navigate the fallout and what the ultimate outcome of this unprecedented exposure would be. The documentary then followed engaging in private discussions with close confidants, each exchange delicate, balancing raw emotion and careful diplomacy, the camera capturing hesitation, regret, and frustration, fans reacting in real time, analyzing every word, gesture, and look. Confrontations with associates escalated, further accusations hurled, defenses mounted. The storm of exposure leaving increasingly isolated and emotionally drained, yet determined to maintain composure. The pace remained unrelenting, each new revelation crafted to heighten suspense, every breakdown, confrontation, and emotional moment drawing the audience deeper into the high-stakes drama surrounding and the meticulously orchestrated chaos that 50 Cent had unleashed, leaving viewers desperate to see the next explosive turn in the story. The tension reached a fever pitch as navigated the relentless fallout from 50 Cent's calculated documentary release. Each day brought new confrontations, new accusations, and fresh waves of scrutiny. The footage captured him in private moments of anguish, pacing his home, phone in hand, every notification a reminder that the world was watching and judging. The emotional strain was almost tangible. The next sequence plunged into a heated confrontation with a longtime business partner, voices raised, accusations flying, the tension thick. "I trusted you with everything, shouted the partner's defense, faltering under the intensity. The scene crackled with raw emotion. Fans online dissected every frame, debating loyalty, motives, and past decisions. Social media erupted, turning the drama into a viral spectacle. The narrative then shifted to a family dinner intended to reconcile old wounds, instead igniting new conflicts. Subtle gestures, tight lips, loaded glances conveyed disappointment, hurt, and doubt. Some siblings stood firmly with others questioning his choices. The camera lingered on every expression, amplifying the tension. The audience felt the weight of fractured loyalty. The documentary then returned to in solitude, reviewing messages and clips, exhaustion etched into his face. "Everything is unraveling," he whispered, vulnerability, isolation, and pressure palpable. The story then captured confrontations with former mentors and industry rivals, accusations colliding with defenses, each word dripping with unresolved history. Fans shocked by the intensity of these interactions. The next sequence highlighted 50 Cent's continued strategic teasing, online snippets designed to provoke speculation and maintain tension, his presence a looming shadow over the unfolding drama. The narrative then showed attempting tentative reconciliations with friends and associates, apologies, hesitant embraces, fleeting, the fragility of trust starkly on display. The drama escalated with private family confrontations, arguments heavy with disappointment and unspoken grievances, subtle gestures amplifying the emotional weight, viewers captivated by the interplay of pride, vulnerability, and fractured relationships. The documentary's seamless blend of public spectacle and private pain underscored the human cost of betrayal, fame, and exposure. Reviewing confrontations in media coverage, exhaustion visible in every movement, each replay a reminder of relentless pressure, industry rival confrontations exploding into heated discussions, tension thick, every word weighted with history, unresolved conflicts keeping fans desperate for the next twist. Social media a constant storm, hashtags trending, debates erupting, viewers dissecting every moment. The narrative highlighted the stark contrast between public persona and private reality, moments of vulnerability, internal struggle, and public exposure, creating gripping emotional tension. The documentary continued to weave confrontation, reflection, and exposure in a relentless cycle. The audience riveted every twist, adding layers to the drama. Pacing alone, muttering, struggling to reconcile public perception with private reality. The relentless emotional storm orchestrated by 50 Cent, escalating alliances, testing trust, pushing reputations to the brink, leaving the audience desperate for the next revelation. Every confrontation, argument, and vulnerable moment magnified, leaving fans unable to look away. The story unfolded as a masterclass in tension, drama, and raw emotion, each scene building toward a crescendo of suspense. The storm surrounding Relentless every revelation, more shocking every conflict, more explosive, ensuring fans remained hooked, desperate for the next chapter, leaving everyone questioning how T.I. could navigate the fallout and what the ultimate outcome of this unprecedented exposure would be. The narrative then showed private conversations between T.I. and trusted confidants, delicate exchanges balancing raw emotion with careful diplomacy, the camera capturing hesitation, regret, and frustration, fans reacting in real time, analyzing every word, gesture, and look, confrontations with associates escalating, further accusations hurled, defenses mounted, the storm of exposure leaving T.I. increasingly isolated and emotionally drained, yet determined to maintain composure. The relentless pace ensured each new revelation heightened suspense, every breakdown, confrontation, and emotional moment drawing the audience deeper into the high-stakes drama surrounding T.I. and the chaos that 50 Cent had meticulously unleashed, leaving viewers desperate for the next explosive turn in the saga.